There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'm feeling woozy here.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
What did you say?
I'm feeling a little woozy here, man.
Breasts? Not until Trading Places in 83. Jamie Lee was always the virgin in horror movies. She never showed her tits till she went legits.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Franchise Deep Dive with Jake and Josh, the podcast where we dive deep into all of your favorite and least favorite movie franchises. I'm Jake.
And I'm Josh.
And I thought I had the best quote here, but I think Josh has just topped me with that very specific, very long-winded Randy quote.
I was thinking about putting Stu in there too, because his lead up to that quote is really funny too.
Yeah, I mean, I think out of any character, Stu is by far and away the most quotable character in that movie. But so I'm glad you went with Randy.
Oh man, I love how stressed Stu's looking when he can't take the movie anymore. He's like I want to see breasts. I want to see Jamie Lee's breasts. When do we see it?
Hey guys, we're talking about Scream today. Yeah, so, but I mean, before we get into the discussion of the movie, a little bit of house cleaning. First off, it's been a minute, guys, so I hope everybody had a good holiday season. I hope everybody had a good Christmas, a good New Year's Eve, a Happy New Year, all of that great stuff, and I hope your 2026 is off to a good start, and those New Year's resolutions are still holding tight. Josh, how was your holiday season?
Oh, it was lovely. I ate way too many cookies. I think
yep.
No, I ate way too many cookies. I didn't count. I didn't tally them as I was eating them, but I thought back because I was like, I gained a good amount of weight these 3 weeks I was home, and I was like, how though? I don't think I ate that bad. And then I was like, well, the cookies. Hold on, how many cookies did I have? I had across 3 weeks probably 150 cookies. And not like little cookies, not
Josh.
like Oreos. They were like homemade Christmas cookies. They were there. Like we made so many. And
jeez, I'm celebrating at the Sicali's next year. I swear. If you need help with those cookies, man.
Minimum 120.
I think I lost weight.
Minimum 120.
Jesus Christ, man.
One day I went home and I didn't eat all day. And there was a big plate of cookies. I sat down, I ate 10 to 12 in 5 minutes. It wasn't even maybe 10 minutes. Maybe 10 minutes. They were so easy. They were just too easy.
A little, do you have a favorite Christmas cookie?
You know, my favorite cookie's chocolate chip, but when I say that, people are like, that's not a Christmas cookie. I'm like, okay. I don't know. What is a Christmas cookie?
I like those little, I don't know what they're called, but they're like the little, they're like cup shaped little things with the little filling.
Kiss in the middle? Or no?
No. It's like it's more in the maybe they're called nut cups. I think they have a couple different names.
It's filled with something, right? It's like a little cup.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, with
those? I don't even know what's in them.
I don't either, but they're just delicious. I'm also a sucker for a good sugar cookie, but
really, wow. Wow.
I do love a good. It's just nice. It's simple. You know, people take.
Really good.
See, Snickerdoodles, you're getting a little too crazy there. You're taking a nice clean sugar cookie and you're adding cinnamon on it. You're adding too much. It's too much.
Way
it's
better.
Too many flavors mixed
Oatmeal
together.
cream pie, does that count as Christmas cookies?
I don't eat them around Christmas, but yeah, I'd say that's a Christmas type of cookie. Chocolate chip is just an anytime cookie. It's not really associated with Christmas, you know. But either way, I'm glad you had a good holiday season. I know you got to spend some time with family and friends, which was nice. I got to go visit my mother, sister, and my niece and nephew down in North Carolina. That was great. It was like 70 degrees on Christmas down there, so that was great, which was a far... No, you know what? I don't care if it's not in the Christmas spirit. I absolutely fucking hate the cold. I hate the snow. I don't want a white Christmas. My favorite Christmas was when I went on a cruise with my family, and it was like 85 degrees, and I was sitting on a beach sipping a cocktail on Christmas Day. That was ideal. Listen,
glad
man.
you had a nice vacation. I'm glad you had a nice trip. But not for Christmas. Not for Christmas. It's been hot in Colorado all December. Now it's snowy, but it's gonna hit 60 again. And it was like 50s, 60s almost all of December.
That's
and
great.
I left and it was like 20s, and I was like, yes, this is what I wanted.
There's no benefit to like cold weather. It's miserable. You
clothing.
walk outside and it's no, I don't. No, I'd rather be in a t-shirt and shorts.
No. I'd rather
Yes.
get some pants, a nice jacket. I look nicer.
Yeah, I guess you got the opportunity to look nicer. Isn't it crazy we wanted to make these episodes shorter?
Yeah.
Either way, holidays aside, again, I hope you guys all had a great holiday. The other thing is we are once again changing our release format, guys. Unfortunately, this time it does come at the cost of the amount of content that you guys are going to be getting per week, but hopefully that allows us to focus more on quality over quantity. It's a lot less taxing on Josh and myself, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be releasing essentially one episode based on one movie a week throughout the rest of the year. That's going to be our plan. One episode a week, one movie, one discussion, and that's just going to be a lot less on me and Josh. It got to a point where watching 3, 4, 5 movies a week, it takes its toll. And then you're doing recording sessions where it's taking 3, 4 hours. It's just too much. And so we're going to reel it back. Maybe in the future, if we gain a little bit more popularity with this podcast and the views are coming in and we're growing some sort of foundation, some sort of fan base, then at that time, maybe we'll switch back to what we were doing and doing more movies per week. But that's just how it's going to go. And the other exciting news is we have our entire 2026 slate planned out. So we are starting off January with Scream. Scream is going to carry us through January and February, all leading to Scream 7. Yes, you heard it here first. The road to Scream 7 starts here today. So that is what is going to be taking place over the course of the next 2 months. After that, we are tackling March with the original 3 X-Men films, X-Men X2 United and X-Men The Last Stand. And then, and the really exciting stuff, from April all the way up to December, we are doing one MCU movie every week leading up to Avengers Doomsday in December. Yes, we are doing 3 franchises in total in 2026. Like I said, kicking off with Scream, moving on to the original X-Men movies, since based on recent trailers, it's looking like they're going to have a pretty significant role in the new Avengers film, and then rewatching the entire MCU, which I'm a little excited for, because there's I realized recently there's a lot of MCU movies that I've only either seen once or I only saw when they came out, and I have never revisited them. Like, I have not seen Thor: The Dark World since 2013 when that movie came out. So I remember hating it, so I'm excited to revisit it. Same with a movie like Eternals. Only saw that once. Black Widow, only saw it once. So gonna,
There's still a bunch I haven't seen. But not a bunch. There's a few.
Yeah,
Like,
I have seen all of them. You're very lucky. Maybe I'm softer on it, because right now I have it as my least favorite MCU movie. So maybe I'll be a little softer on it this time around. But without further ado, Josh, I think that's everything out of the way that we needed to, got to get off the table. All the house cleaning is in order. Shall we get into Scream 1996?
Let's do it.
All right, guys, I'm gonna read off the IMDb synopsis, as I am one to do. That way we can set the foundation for the movie and then just get into the discussion. In the small town of Woodsboro, California, a masked killer known as Ghostface begins murdering high school students, and a group of friends must use their knowledge of horror movies to unmask the killer. That's a pretty good synopsis, honestly.
It's not as short as I thought it was going to be. It's kind of detailed. Yeah.
2 sentences,
Yeah,
don't think
sometimes they
that's too
give those
bad.
like those like 10-word sentences and that's it. It's like tells you nothing. But yeah. So I don't know about you. When I watch this movie, I always want a bowl of popcorn all the time. I don't know if it's the Jiffy Pop popping in the beginning or the.
I did make a thing of popcorn when I watched this the other night.
See that?
It's subconscious.
I was gonna, but then I realized, oh no, you had 150 cookies, so maybe you don't have popcorn now. So, yeah. So, I mean, let's start with the opening of this. I mean, what more can you say that hasn't been said already? You know.
Before we talk about the opening, I just wanted to ask you, because I know this is a film that we probably both have like a pretty strong history with. I just wanted to ask you, like. Yeah. Well, you know, we don't have to for every movie, but I'm just curious, like, especially for Scream, because I know it's a film that me and you hold very near and dear to our hearts, maybe one more than the other. But what is your history with Scream? Like, do you remember the first time you watched it? Do you remember playing the guessing game, trying to figure out who the killers were? And also, guys, full spoilers for this movie.
Spoiler alert.
We are gonna probably not spoil the other Screams. We'll just stick to Scream 1, but full spoilers for Scream 1996. And I realized I forgot to give the... Jesus, I'm so dumb. I forgot to give out the information.
Quick,
we're
rusty.
Little...
We are rusty.
I know, guys. It's been a minute. It's directed by Wes Craven. Budget of between $14 and $15 million, and a whopping box office of $173 million. Like I mentioned, also released in 1996. See if we could pull up the Rotten Tomatoes score, because I did forget to put it down. Surprisingly, 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's
but
so low for Rotten Tomatoes.
It is rather low, but yeah, this movie was essentially a smash hit. But either way, go into your history with this movie. Very curious.
The first memory I think I have was at my my grandma's house. I remember me and like all my cousins, or all the cousins that were there. Downstairs is where we would like hang out. The kids would, and I remember watching it there in the room with everybody. I was like sitting on the floor watching it, and I don't remember watching the full thing. I think we did, but I really just remember the opening scene and like maybe sprinkles of like the movie. But so I don't remember if I was scared or not. Like when I was watching it, I only just remember watching it in that setting for the first time. But I remember growing up, like that was a pretty big staple for me. Like since I was 7, I think. Yeah. Probably 6 or 7. I watched it. I just watched it like probably every year since then. So, you know, very, very closeness to me. It was always like one of my favorites. Sorry to lend my hand too much. I'll let you guys know how I feel about it now. Maybe it changed, maybe not. But yeah, so that was a very cozy setting, memory that I have. I wish I remembered more of the movie. I think I remember the end of it too, watching it in there, but like not the middle. Like it's kind of, I feel like people remember the beginning and end of this movie a lot though.
Yeah, very, very strong opening and obviously very, very strong closing. I guess for me, I don't remember exactly where I was when I first watched the movie, but I definitely remember my experience with it, and it was just full on love right from the first time I watched it. We've talked a little bit in the past on this podcast about how kind of Friday the 13th was kind of my gateway into horror, and then watching Halloween really made me fall in love with the horror genre and slashers, and then watching Scream after watching like all the Nightmare movies and watching all the Friday the 13th movies and watching Halloween and then getting to Scream is such a rewarding experience, because it's like, oh, this movie's made for me. This movie is like directed towards people like me who just love this genre, who loves the tropes and who loves the little cliches and stuff that they do in these movies. And the other kind of fun little fact that I have about this movie and my history with it is I remember in high school when I decided that I wanted to be a screenwriter and wanted to be a filmmaker. And I remember reading this article, and it was saying how if you want to be a screenwriter, what you should do is you should pick a genre. There's not many people who work in multiple genres in Hollywood. Usually you're kind of stuck with one genre. Obviously there's people who kind of break that, but they're more so the exception than the rule. And it was a suggestion that was, hey, pick a movie that you love inside a genre that you want to write or direct for. And I loved horror and I wanted to make horror films. And I was like, I love Scream. And they said, find the screenplay for that movie. And this is what you're supposed to do. And I did this. And this is psychotic in high school. So there was one week where it was the first day you read the script and then you watch the movie. I did that. Day 2. The day after, you watch the movie and then you read the script. And then the third day, you read the script twice, watch the movie. The next day, you read the movie twice, or you watch the movie twice, and then you read the script. So there was a week when I was in high school where I watched Scream. It had to have been about 6 or 7 times and read that screenplay multiple times. So outside of like maybe Hot Fuzz, I don't know if there's a movie that I am more familiar with than Scream at this point, because as a high schooler, I was just so thoroughly obsessed with the movie. So that's sort of my little kind of fun backstory with it and like little history with it. But
which is interesting because I think you're more obsessed now than ever with
yeah,
Scream 100%.
100%.
Than high school Jake.
I watch this movie, no joke, like every 3 or 4 months. Like it's somehow turned into just a real comfort movie for me. And I'm not sure if it's like the coziness of the 90s film aesthetic or all the cozy sweaters that you have throughout the movie. Obviously, I got my kind of Casey Becker inspired sweater on right now, but yeah, I just, it's no surprise. Like I'm like beaming right now. Just like the idea of talking about Scream. Like I love this movie so much, but yeah, so that's my history with it. But yes, let's, I don't think we need to talk about this movie chronologically, but yeah, let's start with possibly, I'm going to go on the record. This is the greatest cold open to any horror film ever. I don't think that there's a film that has as intense as an opening as Scream does, as iconic of an opening, as memorable. It hits all the beats. But yes, go right ahead. You were about to talk about it.
No, so I mean, dude, I don't know what we can say about it because like this is like the highlight for people of the movie is the opening, and I'm not even gonna argue with you because I don't even have like a rebuttal to like say what's a better opening. So I'll just roll with you on that and say that because it is one of the best, if not maybe the best. I don't think I've seen the original When a Stranger Calls, so I don't know how much it's
bad.
Is it bad, the original?
The opening is great. The rest of the movie's terrible, and that's yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so we're introduced to Casey, which I love that they. I wish I was around for the marketing, the build up to the movie, the trailers, because like Drew Barrymore was like one of the most popular teen stars I think at the time. So I love the shock that they give you to like just have her in for 10 minutes. I think it shows a lot of confidence too, because like I wish I could have just been in that theater, just getting that like when have you like when is like a director or like any movie like killed off its biggest star? I think. I mean, I don't think there was that much of a bigger star. I mean, Courtney Cox, I guess maybe, but
Henry Winkler, I guess he had the Fonz and yeah.
But like she's on the cover. She's marketed as like the main girl. It seems so. I thought that was really cool that they did that. But Casey gets shittier and shittier every time I watch this. I mean, when she's like immediately charmed by this voice, and he's like, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And she's like, "No. Let me test these waters." And then he like spends like another 30 seconds, and he just says, "I want to see who I'm looking at."
I don't want to skip over that line because I know we texted about it a little bit, but not only is this to me the greatest cold open in horror history, but I think that the line, "I want to know who I'm looking at," is one of the most chilling and arguably best lines in horror history. Like, to me, it's only paralleled by that opening phone call of Black Christmas when Barb like goes ham on Billy over the phone, and Billy, the most rational he'll sound the entire movie, just says that like simple, "I'm gonna kill you." But the just I don't know, the gravitas of, because like that's the interesting part about Ghostface's voice is like at first it's not scary. It's a little goofy. It's a little comedic. Like it's not intense. It's not scary. But the only times that Ghostface does sound intimidating and does sound threatening is when he gets frantic and when he gets angry. You know, when he says it's almost like the normalness of the way he delivers "I want to know who I'm looking at" is what makes it so chilling and effective. But also following that up with when she's about to hang up on him and him saying, "If you hang up, I'm going to gut you like a fish." And the way that Roger Jackson, who voices Mojo Jojo in Powerpuff Girls, which I think is always hilarious, when his voice just switches from that calm nature to that very frantic, angry voice, it's so unhinged, and and that's just what I love about Ghostface in this movie as a whole compared to a killer like Jason or Michael, is they're all so methodical and calculated, whereas Ghostface is just a fucking idiot, kind of, and operates and acts like a fucking idiot, and it's part of what I think adds to the charm of this movie. But yeah, so you brought up like the kind of surrounding elements of the opening scene and how bold it was to market Drew Barrymore and the shock of killing her. I mean, it's the little girl from E.T. You're killing the little sister from E.T. in your opening scene of your film that you heavily marketed her as the star of through promotional material, trailers, and whatnot. But outside of the surrounding elements, I think it's just like almost a perfectly edited and directed scene. There's so many like little elements of it that I'm curious like what you think about, but the way that it just builds and builds with the suspense and the claustrophobia of her in that house and the phone calls, and you start to, you yourself as the viewer, look around and be like, holy shit, this house is huge. There's so many entry points that Ghostface could get into this house. And then you add in the popcorn that's slowly boiling over, and then the smoke starts filling in the air, which sets off the alarm. So now you have the popcorn going off, you have the smoke in the air, you have the alarm going off, and there's all of this chaos and just shit going on. Like,
yeah, let's at least just get out of the way. Everyone seems to be like fucking rich in this movie. Every house is huge, but every house also is in its own world. No one has a neighbor in this movie. It's nuts. Like,
yeah. No, and it's like, because I lived in, so this takes place in Woodsboro, California, but like I lived in California, obviously more like Southern Cal. I think this takes place more in like Northern California.
I think so.
I believe, but yeah, man, these houses are so spread out. Like you see the opening house and it's
so
like
nice too.
Oh, it adds such like a coziness.
Is nuts.
Oh my god,
my
yeah. That's
goodness.
one of the not to jump ahead too much, but in Scream 5, they like will loosely return to that house. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Stu's house at the end, like that kind of closing shot of Stu's house, and you get like the sun or the mountains in the background, and like the sun is rising.
It's like on a fucking like high hill that overlooks these valleys and mountains and shit. But yeah, so back to Casey's house, the setup here, the mood and atmosphere. It's first off, the house is so cozy. It's like so kind of like elegant, but the outside, I love the pool steam that like surrounds the house. Like that really just creates like just this eeriness around it, while you have this nice like comforting inside. So I think that's like a nice, just a nice little variation you have there. But dude, like the pool is so like everything just looks like so nice. But So he's doing like the game and shit. He does the little trick of Friday the 13th, which I always like. I just love how much he's like taunting her and shit. And he's so sarcastic and just like, I don't know. I love when he says when she says Jason, and he's like, I'm sorry, it was the wrong answer. And then he's like, and then she says, no, it's not, it was Jason. And then he goes, afraid not. No way. And I'm just like that's Dude. That's so good.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because like that's always like one of my favorite underrated Ghostface lines is it's him being like, afraid not, no way. It's like the way he says it is almost like kind of sassy. Like
he's a little sassy. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm really not gonna nitpick this opening, but I will say a couple things. So I am nitpicking. I just kind of like just completely contradicted myself. But
Go for it.
Oh, it just pisses me off because you don't want Casey to die. So like she's outside and you see the car driving, and she's like ducking down. I hate that she doesn't just move, and you're always gonna have that in like horror movies, but there's multiple times. Yeah, she comes up and then he like turns around, smashes the glass. She like hits him. You know, you always get a hit on Ghostface. He always like gets whacked at least once and falls.
He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, yeah. But she's running, and then she stops when she sees the car, and then literally stops for 5 seconds, looks around. I'm like, oh my god! And then he like bursts the glass and like tackles her. And I also I get like her lungs. I don't know what he does to her lungs. He like chokes her. He doesn't stab her there.
I think, well, she's already been stabbed in her lungs, essentially.
Yeah,
and
so
also, I always thought that when he chokes her, that he crushes her windpipe so she's unable to speak.
Because you hear a loud sound when he he does it like so aggressively. So she can't speak. She has the phone in her fucking hand, and she's like 10 feet from her parents. Chuck the fucking phone or something. I don't know. Like, you can't say mom. Just chuck it. I'd be trying anything and everything.
I understand I understand your criticisms, and this just always goes back to me and you view movies a little differently. Like, you're always putting yourself in that situation, whereas, like, I try to give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. She's been stabbed in the chest. She's been assaulted. She's been choked. She's also a teenage girl. It's... Yes, there's always, in a lot of horror movies, there's always, like, oh, why didn't they do this, this, and this? And it's a lot of the times it's conveniences, but... I think they're just conveniences that I'm willing to accept.
I hate that she stops and looks around when she sees the car.
I always just like
bolt it.
I get I get that. I attribute it to more of like she's unsure of where he is, so like she's very. I get the like sentiment like why doesn't she just beeline to the car or whatever, but I always just kind of view it as like she's still unsure of where Ghostface is. She doesn't know he could be around any corner or lurking, so I always just kind of write it off as just her. Scared. She's scared. She's terrified.
Small nitpick. Oh, I had written when Steve's there. Ain't no fucking way this man is ripping out his whole insides in 2 seconds. Cause like he's like sitting there, and she like looks, and then she like turns away because you hear the sound.
Yeah.
And then she looks back, and he's just like dead, and it's like a couple seconds, and his fucking intestines are spilled out. I don't know how Ghostface does that, but. I just said it.
Well,
he's ripping those guys
and again,
out in 3 seconds.
Again, guys, big spoilers for the movie. We should just say this because it's going to inevitably get said. Stu Macher and Billy Loomis are the killers of this movie. So with that being said, to answer your question, Josh, if you want to know how Ghostface did it, in like 2 scenes when they're sitting in front of the water fountain, Matthew Lillard will tell you. Straight to your face how he did that.
Yeah. Dude, oh my god, Billy looks so goddamn stressed in that scene. Like Randy is completely zoning in on them, like, and it's like a joke, but Billy's like he's like looking away. He's like it's like really funny to watch him because Stu's like just reckless. He's just
There are 2 times I counted in this movie. There are 2 times in this film where Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher is serious and not being a bumbling buffoon. The first is in this water fountain scene when he's deliberately going into detail when Sydney asks the reasonable question, hey, how could somebody do that, gut somebody like that? And Matt Lillard gets, again, probably the most serious he'll get in this entire movie, and goes into explicit detail about how you gut somebody. But yeah, he's not the killer, you know. The other time is when they're in the video store later on in the film, when Randy's like, oh, hey, isn't that in poor taste? Like, if you're the prime suspect in a murder case, why are you, Billy Loomis, standing in the horror section? And this is the only other time that Stu gets serious, and his face gets serious, and he goes, well, what do you mean? He didn't do anything. And that is what I absolutely adore about rewatching this film, is that, and this, again, I'm not going to jump too far ahead. This is why I have a lot of problems with Scream 3. But sticking to Scream 1, I love the idea that the 2 killers in this film are not these smart, calculated killers. They are two fucking high school idiots. To the point where you can go back and watch every single scene involving them, and one of the two is doing something that is drawing the most attention to them that you possibly could think of. Like, I never, the first three times I watched it until someone pointed it out, I didn't realize that the day after Sydney is attacked, when you cut to her approaching Tatum and Stu at the lockers, Stu is checking his head in the mirror to see if he has any bruises or bumps, because he was the one who attacked Sydney the night before and got hit in the head. Like, there's so many, like, just little moments. I don't know if you've ever caught this one, but towards the tail end of the film, when they're at the party, when Billy arrives right after Tatum is killed, when Billy arrives at the front door, he shoots Matt Lillard a look. Like, he, like, raises his eyebrows towards Matt Lillard, like, shoots him a look that essentially is, I think, him just being like, hey, yeah, it's done. I just killed Tatum. Like, psychotic. And stupid, but great.
When he's checking himself, is that after she whacks his head with the lollipop or before?
Before.
Okay.
Because it's the thing that makes, like, Sid walk off is, I forget what he says. He makes some comment like, oh, look, it's Christmas around here. Like, everybody's so happy. And she goes, stupidity leak, and starts smacking him in the head with the lollipop. And I think Tatum is a very underrated character in this movie. I find her, when you look at the grand scheme and the grand landscape of side characters and suspects in the Scream universe, I think Tatum stands above a lot of them in terms of just being memorable, having memorable lines, and obviously one of the most memorable deaths. Listen. We don't need to get juvenile here. All I want to say is that the most... I don't know how much trivia you looked into in this, for the behind the scenes of this film, but the entire third act of this movie, the climax of this movie, is set at Stu Macher's house at this party. It lasts 42 minutes long, which I think is insane, and a huge part of why I think this movie is paced so well and why it is like an hour and 50 and it feels like 90 minutes, is that you have this entire climactic final scene essentially all taking place at Stu's house, and again, 42 minutes long. That whole sequence, known as scene 118, took 21 days to film. 3 weeks of filming for that one scene. It was apparently, and this leads into what you were just saying, it was apparently very, very cold on set.
It was? Really?
Yeah, when they were filming, it was cold, which makes sense when you start looking at the characters and how they're dressed. Like, Sydney's got a jacket on, like, when Gail and Dewey go off walking, like, they have jackets and stuff. So while filming, it was cold, so, it's not Tatum's fault.
So I have a couple like fun facts, but I did want to correct you here because you said those are the only 2 times. You missed out like my favorite moment when Stu is like dead serious, and it's like his turning point in the final scene. When he clearly, and it's like probably like the scariest moment for Stu is when Billy actually like says his motive, and Stu just has this blank look of like, oh shit, I didn't know that, and then you realize Stu is like not doing this for any reason. He's not doing it to even help his friend like get some kind of like vengeance. He was literally just convinced to do it for fun. But I love that look he gives when Billy's like dead serious and like almost in tears. And then after that, there's clearly like a trust break. Like he doesn't want to give Billy the knife back. There isn't like So I love that you have that part for Stu, but you were going to say something. What?
Well, I just wanted to ask you, because this is something I do like to ask people, because there is a little bit of, what's the right word? It's not discrepancy. There's a little bit of a disagreement, I guess, in the Scream community about that shot that you're talking about. And for those at home who haven't seen Scream in a while or are misremembering, what Josh is referencing is in the scene in the kitchen, in the climax of the film, when Billy and Stu, before they stab each other, they're cornering Sydney in the kitchen, and Sydney asks why they're doing it, and they kind of reference what Randy said earlier in the film about how it's the millennium and how motives are incidental, and at this point, there is no motive revealed. But then, obviously, Billy goes into this whole backstory about how Sydney's mom was having an affair with his father, and then when Billy's mother found out, Billy's mother left, and so he blames Sydney and Sydney's mom for destroying his family and causing abandonment issues. And when this is being revealed, it does cut to Stu. And Josh is right. He does get very serious, and he has this look on his face like he does not know that this is the motive. Now, there is a subset of Scream fans who believe what Josh said, which is Stu didn't know. The other side of the fandom believes that Stu knew about this motive and is just playing it up for the scene. Because from the moment that Stu reveals that he is one of the killers, you know, the surprise Sydney, which is such a great reveal. Yeah. But I don't know, because like, I think I'm with you. I think he didn't know, but there is something to this theory that like after he does that whole reveal, like Stu he's a goofball throughout this movie, and he's a little exaggerated, a lot of just, and you listen to interviews with like Matt Lillard when he's talking about his performance in that movie, and he's always like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know why Wes let me do any of that. It's so ridiculous. Little does he know it's like everybody's favorite performance in Scream. But there is something to the theory that maybe he did know, and he's just playing it up in that moment, because he never like really addresses it or brings it up. But you're right, it does kind of follow after that with them having this sort of trust broken, and everything kind of goes to shit from that point on. So you are on the train that you believe that he didn't know.
Yeah, I think that helps his character. I think that just creates a level of like just more, that just makes him scarier to me.
That's fair. Because, like, well, if you guys are listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, let us know in the comments down below what you think of that scene.
I didn't know that there was another half that thought that. I thought it was pretty clear cut. I don't think you would show that, even if you're like showing it to like play it up. I don't think that's conveyed as much as the other one is. So yeah. And then like beforehand, he like very willingly and kind of like jokingly, the way he hands Billy the knife, which I love, he like really like displays it out for him, like
presents it to him.
Very like, you know, he's like happily doing all this stuff, and then after that he like doesn't want to give it to him, and then he gives it to him like begrudgingly. So I think that kind of like ties into that. But he's also pretty serious for a little moment, at least when he attacks Sid at the end. I guess like I more so meant like serious like pre-killer reveal, because like after they're revealed as the killers, like yes, there is like a more serious nature to it, and he's still somehow being like an exaggerated buffoon of a character. Like I love too when he realizes the gun is gone, and he's just like, Houston, we have a problem here. Like the gun,
there's just so many the gun, man, I'm feeling a little woozy here. Or the best line, you fucking hit me with the phone, dick.
That looks so painful. That was real, right?
Yeah, it was not planned. Skeet Ulrich accidentally hits Matt Lillard with the phone.
Accident. I don't know if you know about the umbrella part.
No, I don't.
So when he gets stabbed by the umbrella, that's actually like him like in pain, because she was supposed to hit padding that he had, but she missed it, and she hit a scar when he had open heart surgery in like at some point in his childhood, and she pierced his scar, so like he's like,
oh my god,
yeah. So
I did not,
I
did not know that.
Sounds painful.
Jesus.
I remember reading a long time ago when I forget, I don't know if it was like throughout Drew Barrymore's crying. I think every time she would cry, Wes Craven would like lean on her love for like animals, and he would just like tell stories about animal cruelty, and like he would have a line he would say to like cue her like getting upset. Yeah, he dug into her her love there. So
all right, Wes,
he's a little fucked up there, but
well, I gotta, you know. So what I didn't mention at the beginning when I was going through is that this is obviously directed by Wes Craven, but it was also written by Kevin Williamson, who I was watching a little, documentary about Scream before we started recording, and it was kind of interesting where he was talking about how he was really in like a rock bottom type of situation before Scream got sold. Like I think he said like his car payment was due. He was 3 months behind on rent. And he was really in a bad place when he sold the script for Scream. But I just feel like Scream as a movie is kind of a perfect storm. Also, guys, Kevin Williamson returning for Scream 7. He is not only the writer this time, but he is in the director's chair. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very curious to see his transition from writer to director. But, he was kind of a big part of the 90s. He wrote The Faculty. He wrote Dawson's Creek. He wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is essentially just like a worse version of Scream. But, yeah, getting back to this movie, I feel like it's a perfect storm of just, you had the perfect script, which horror was in such, and they talk about that in the documentary. Like they show clippings of articles about how horror was in such a bad place at that time, was kind of a dead genre in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, because this was 96. And you had a perfect script that was not only sharply written, but incredibly funny, had incredibly memorable characters, had such a good built-in backstory with Sydney and everything that happened to her prior to the events of this movie, such as her mother being killed a year before, which I think is such a good little detail, because so many slashers, they don't have anything except what's happening in that movie. But what I think they do, what Kevin Williamson is able to do with this script and how Wes Craven kind of brings it to life on the screen, is just really establish this lived-in world. And it's great because I think Woodsboro as a town is such a character in and of itself in this movie and in this series. I'm not sure if you like really agree with that, but I find just like the school and the town, and like you said, the houses that we go to in this movie, like so many of the locations I just think are so memorable. And maybe it's a product of me seeing this movie so many fucking times, but I just love Woodsboro as a character. And again, I just love that built-in backstory in this movie, and I think it just adds just that extra little oomph to this film. But I
love when the town starts clearing out, which, dude, last I heard the curfew was 9 o'clock. I was going to say maybe it's summertime, so it doesn't get dark till 8:30 or 9 o'clock. But, dude, everyone's, like, bolting home, and it's like, I don't even see a sunset happening. It looks like 5 o'clock, honestly. But I had a couple questions, because Lauren pointed out something that I always wondered why they showed this shot. When the sheriff steps on his cigarette, and they, like, do a shot of that, like, just his foot stepping on it. Is that like another red herring that they're trying to like? Because she's like, are they trying to make me think he's the killer because he has similar shoes? She was like, the shoes look the same from like when he like lowers in the stall. Although that's not him in the stall. That's like that's a student just pranking, I think.
So that's another. See, I believe that it was Stu in the bathroom.
Oh, gee, that I don't like that. Then I don't like it.
Why?
But I also have a problem with wearing your costume and like going around suburbs, just like for what reason? Like when they're on the porch and he walks in the woods. The worst is the grocery store. And if you defend that, then I don't know. That's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. I hate that part. It didn't do anything for it. It doesn't do anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
I want to believe that that's a student, because right after that you hear on the intercom like them saying how so many students are dressing up, pranking students. So I want to believe that that's
sure. They are, but I think there's like pranking, and then
much also the bathroom scene.
I think I like it. I think it's a good intense scene.
I think it just happens to happen just to have like another scare. I don't really see the point of it unless it's like a student pranking her.
To me, what I another kind of element that I love about this movie is that, again, like stereotypical slasher, it happens in Halloween, and this movie kind of subverts that. Is a lot of the times our final girl, our main protagonist, they do not come in contact with the killer until the last 15 to 20 minutes. Whereas I love that in like the first 20-25 minutes of this film, Ghostface attacks Sydney at her house. And I don't think that was an attempt to scare her. I think, and it's obviously Stu in the costume because Billy shows up like right at that scene. That's part of like why he gets arrested, is because he's at the scene of the crime. But like logistically, he wouldn't have been able to go around the other side of the house and take off the costume and all that stuff that quickly. So
do you think he
it's
does
very
the phone work or no?
I think in the opening scene, Billy is on the phone and Stu is the one who kills what's her name? Casey in the film. Actually, I think they were probably both in costume because one of the questions is what door am I at, the front or the back? And I think it's a trick question because they're both at
they're
either
definitely
door.
both there at Casey's, but at Sid's, does Billy come in because like it kind of like went like not to plan? Did he get caught on purpose? I always wonder that. Like,
That's a good question.
It kind of would make sense because like, well, this goes back to like another small issue. These are not big issues, but it's something that kind of confuses me because I feel like it's inconsistent with what the plan is, and you could, I guess, say they don't have a plan because they're dumb. But
Yeah, I think
they've also done this for a year. They've gotten away with it. They've kind of set some stuff up that worked out. So they're not like entirely fools.
All they really did was kill Sid's mom and frame Cotton Weary. That's like one kill, whereas I think I just think they're dumb high schoolers. I think obviously like what's his name? Billy has a little more intelligence than Stu, who's just a fucking bumbling idiot throughout the entire film. But I think that's what it is, though. And that's why, like, again, like, you could say that I'm making excuses for this film, and I'm not saying that your criticisms are invalid, but when you're like, well, why are they, like, just outside in their costume? Like, why are they just, at the... And I get that, and, like, I'm not trying to, like, say that you're wrong for criticizing that. I just think it doesn't really hurt the film for me, because that a lot of, like, what Billy and Stu do in this film, I justify as they're dumb high schoolers. Like...
I think there's
they're
a level
not
of intelligence.
intelligent.
I think they
I
are
don't
sometimes.
think so.
Like they're not. That whole Casey scene is very like yeah. He gets like hit. He's not the best fighter, but like I don't know. I think it's pulled off pretty like intelligently a little bit.
I don't think so. They are a fucking split second. They are a hair away from the parents finding the daughter. Like they kill her just before.
But I'm saying
just
like,
before
the lead up. I think is nicely done. I don't think
it's that smart though. They found a girl at home alone, and I did want to ask you. Okay, do you think, because it is mentioned that Casey was dating Stu but dumped him for her boyfriend at the start of the film, Steve, the one whose guts get spilled all over the patio. Do you think that they killed Casey because she had wronged Steve? Or do you think that they killed Casey because her seat was right next to Sydney's in class, and it would be like okay?
I think it's just finding small connections to Sydney to like fuck with her.
Okay.
And I think
so. You think it's just like happenstance that she had dated Steve or Stu in the past?
I think because Stu dated her, he knows the area, he knows the house, so he's like, okay, this works out kind of nicely.
Okay.
I know this house kind of. So I think that's why. I don't think it was any kind of like revenge thing. But so what I was saying is I don't understand what the intention was fully, because they're kind of all over the place with, do they want to follow the rules of the final girl of like she can only die when she has sex? Is that like what their plan is? Do they want her to make it to the year anniversary? Because other times they're trying to kill her, and you could say they're not actually trying to kill her, but like when he's on top of her, he like raises the knife. He's not gonna not stab her. So
no, I think they're trying to kill her in that scene.
Yeah, so then it doesn't make sense with the end, because it's built up like, now you got to die. Those are the rules because you just gave it up. So in that part, it's like, oh, you were waiting. You were also waiting for the year anniversary to have this like climax for yourself. Like, I think that's pretty clear. Like, they wanted it to get, they were planning the year anniversary, this like house party kind of thing. I don't know.
It's possible.
I think it's just
So-
mixed up.
So my kind of, I guess my thought process with that is, I think they do try to kill Sydney in that first 20 to 25 minutes when they attack her at her home, but because Tatum is supposed to come over and she's late or whatever. I think they are trying to kill her in that scene. And this is where I think it lends to some of the more psychotic elements of the characters Billy and Stu that people tend to overlook. And it's one of my favorite elements of those characters because it's obviously no secret that this film is a meta satire of horror and a meta satire of slashers. And I think this movie is brilliant because I think it works both as a satire and I think it also works as just a straight up slasher horror film. And so I think it works in both camps. I think it works very well on its own, and then it also works well when it's poking fun at the genre and the subgenre of slashers. But what I love about Billy and Stu in this film is that they love horror films. I mean, they start the film by questioning Casey Becker on horror films. They're asking her questions about horror films. What's your favorite scary movie? All that stuff. The very first thing that Billy says when we meet him is, I was watching The Exorcist, when he's talking to Sydney. Towards the end of the film, when he shoots Randy, or right before he shoots Randy, which is one of my favorite moments in the film. Randy gets inside after the whole fiasco outside with Stu. Sydney, distraught, gives Billy the gun. Billy turns the gun on Randy, and we all go a little mad sometimes. Shoots Randy. I think it's such a great delivery. I think Billy's such a great character in this, but... So, and then even to the point where Stu says, like, when he was talking about before they started these killings and their plan, which was, watch a couple horror movies, take some notes, it was fun, which is what he says. I love the delivery of, it was fun. But, so these two guys, they love horror films. They took inspiration from horror films. And I genuinely believe that after the failed attack on Sydney, that they started to believe the rules and tropes of horror films. That's how fucking psychotic these two characters are, is that Billy especially started to believe that Sydney couldn't die, he couldn't kill Sydney because she was a virgin. They were fully believing into the virgin trope. And I think that adds like an extra layer of psychoticness to those characters, that they believe in these horror films and the rules of horror so much that they're applying it to real life. And to me is I think a really great element of this movie.
That could be. That could probably, I don't know, maybe fix that little issue. But with the obsession of horror movies, I love this part. I always wondered why Billy looks, and he might just be looking at the door because I don't think he's looking into the living room, because I think the living room's off to the side. I think he just looks down the hall. But because they show Halloween. When Jamie Lee's in the closet, I love that kind of tells him, oh, check the closet. And then when he opens it and she's not there, he looks back. It's almost like he's getting notes of what to do next. Which
Yeah.
I saw someone point that out and I was like, oh shit, that's really, I really like that, because I always wondered why he looks over at the movie. I'm assuming he's looking at the movie because they show the movie when he looks over. But I thought that was really interesting, just to put another layer of obsession on the movie. This guy's really just doing what he's told in these tropes.
Yeah, and I love that little element. I know we were texting a little bit, and you have some, I guess, logistical issues with the Halloween movie being on in the film, but
I love it though.
Yeah,
I think it works so well because I love that they kind of they cheat a little bit by taking that score because it's an amazing score, but it works so well with when it's emphasized.
Yeah.
When
I love that they have it playing in the background.
Yeah, dude. And when Randy gets the call, and it does the 2-note piano part.
Yeah,
that's so good. That's one of
dude,
my favorite parts of music.
When Dewey comes into the house after he thinks that something has happened, and like you just hear the chase scene in the background, and it's like it sounds to him like somebody's in danger. I think that's great. Like you said, I love that they are able to kind of cheat it in like a way that like Halloween 3 kind of does, where just having the movie on and you get to use that score, which I wanted to ask you about, because it's another part of Scream that I think is incredibly underrated and doesn't get talked about enough. I love the score in this film.
Yeah.
I adore the music.
I think it has I think the music actually grew on me over time. I think what I used to want was a specific theme for Ghostface, kind of like how
That's
Halloween
fair.
has. But I think it's a really well done score. I can't tell if I want just like a very specific theme that John Carpenter has in like all his movies. But I think
I think it
it's like,
does.
No, I mean like maybe I just want some synth shit. I don't know.
That's
or like,
yeah.
or
Well,
like
the synth
or like
the synth is
or like
always
piano
gonna be.
stuff. But
Yeah, no, I love in this film. I love how they use that kind of choir. Like it's very kind of reminiscent of like a Nightmare on Elm Street, which I think is like obviously like a nice little kind of homage to Wes Craven's previous work. But
maybe I wanted something at least like that, because Nightmare on Elm Street does that like choir stuff where it like has the humming and stuff like that, but it also has those little like tunes that like come in. And I feel like I never got that in the score of Scream, but I've listened to the score on its own, and I'm like, this is really good. Like,
it's great.
It's not a problem with the music.
It adds this like kind of like ambient dread to a lot of the scenes, like just like when.
I
like
don't
when
know.
Sydney's at her house alone, like when she gets home from school, and again you get that like sun setting in the mountains in the background, and there's just that like that choir track in the back. I'll tell you what too, in terms of like specific themes, I love Dewey's theme.
In the second, or
in all it starts in this one, but in all of them. But yeah, I just love Dewey's
it more in
theme.
the second. I can't remember.
It's used more in the second. It's used more in the second one.
There's
but
so like that has a moment of like I can't remember the tune, but I don't remember hearing it in the first, but in the second they play it like fucking 5 times. But there's
well,
there's
Dewey I feel like gets a lot more focus in the second film and way more in the third,
which we'll talk about in a second, because there's a part in his theme that I really love, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where it's like just a little jingle in that.
It's that like it's like the
I'm talking about the other one, the higher pitch one, where it's like I don't know what instrument it is. It's not the deep.
I don't know. It's a very unique theme, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. And then of course, I wrote specifically in my notes, and I know we are running a little bit later than we expected, but it's Scream 1, so like,
yeah, we're gonna go a little longer for Scream 1 at least, I think.
Fucking live with it, Josh. Fucking
Gail,
deal with it,
by the way,
man.
Gail's a creep. Unbelievable.
Is she?
Flirting with Dewey, and then you say, "Oh, you don't look a day over 12." Ew. Nasty.
No, she goes specifically, you don't look a day over 12, I guess except in the upper torso region.
Yeah, man.
Does the force require you to work out? No, ma'am. Increased muscle mass has increased the, what does he say? Like it increases people taking him seriously as a police officer or something.
It's something about his boyish good looks. I can't remember, but yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like because of my boyish good looks, increased muscle mass has increased my chances of being taken seriously as a police officer. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I like Dewey. I like Dewey and Gale in this though, because it's very clear that she's like manipulating him for a good portion of this movie, but also you can tell that his like goofy charm is slowly starting to work on her, which I love. Dewey's just such a fun character. Like I love when they go into the party and he's just so excited that she's with him. He kind of like waddles over to Tatum and he's like, she's here with me. And when he like sees the kid drinking the beer, he's like, hey, no underage drinking. I'm just kidding. Watch the driving. And he hands the beer back to the kid. Like I love that. I wrote, because we were talking about music, and I was obviously thinking of My Red Right Hand, and I wrote specifically in my notes, ask Josh about Nick Cave, because I know that you love Nick Cave.
I do.
And I just wanted to give you I wanted you did. I remember you saying you hated that song.
I used to hate it. I like it now.
My one well, it's funny because I recently listened to a bunch of Nick Cave albums and specifically listened to that album that Red Right Hand is on, thinking, oh, this is going to make more sense in the context of that album. Fun fact, it does not. But I wanted to ask you, first off, did you listen to Nick Cave before you had known this song Red Right Hand? Okay, so no, and
Well, no, because
then
like,
I just
when
wanted.
was a kid.
Okay, so then I just wanted to give you a brief 1 to 2 minutes to talk about Nick Cave, if you wanted to.
Oh, I mean,
Because I know you love his music, and I know you have like albums of his that you love.
Put me on the spot here. I mean, if you don't know Nick Cave, I mean, I could give you a couple recommendations, but I don't know what it is about. Like, yeah, but hey, Boatman's Call, Skeleton Tree, and Ghost Teen, my 3 favorite albums of his. Ghost Teen, I think, is my favorite, which I think Jake really liked, but then he didn't like it. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. He said it was a little
No, I said I liked it. I said it was a little repetitive. If anyone wants to know, Carnage is my favorite Nick Cave album.
Carnage is great. I love Carnage.
I've been listening to the song Albuquerque like every day for the last.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite on Carnage. That's so good.
Yeah, dude, it's so good.
So damn good.
I love it. Yeah, he's got such a great voice.
That's with someone else. That's not the Bad Seeds. It's Nick Cave.
Warren Ellis,
I think. Yeah.
Who him and Nick Cave have done. They work on movie soundtracks together. Like they've done scores for films together. I don't know because I know Nick Cave did some of the music for Joker Folie à Deux, which is a terrible movie, but. I don't know if Warren Ellis was on that as well, but yeah, either way, I just wanted to bring up Nick. I wrote specifically in my notes. I was like, ask Josh about Nick Cave.
I mean, Shrek 2. I mean, come on. He's right in there when Shrek is depressed.
Dude, it's like the perfect depressed music.
Oh, I know.
He also, his music isn't Christmas music, but I feel like his music is very, warm and, Christmassy. Like, listening to it around the holidays, I enjoyed. I just want to talk about a Ghostface line that we didn't mention that I think is absolutely fucking awesome and totally just visceral when you hear it. When she's freaking out, she asks Ghostface, it's Casey Becker in the opening scene. She says, "What do you want?" And his response is, "To see what your insides look like." That is awesome. That is so fucked up. And I love it. And we didn't really talk about the opening. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say the opening scene, Josh had his nitpicks. We highlighted how great it is. Every time I watch it, it actually breaks my heart. It is a very upsetting scene to watch because you're watching this girl
gasping for breath and you just see the knife coming down repeatedly. That's really upsetting.
What upsets me is when when the husband and the father gives the phone to the wife and says to call the police, and because this is a landline, and for any of you young folks who don't know how landline works, multiple people can be on the line at once, and the mother picks up the phone and she hears Casey Becker, her daughter, as she's dying, just to go outside. The husband says, "Go down to the Mackenzies, get help," which is a little kind of homage to Halloween when Laurie Strode
down the road, because I know you don't got any neighbors.
more like 4 miles. And it's funny because this is where Scary Movie starts to blend, because I think about Scary Movie when the parents are driving home and the mother is giving the dad roadhead.
Oh, man.
Apologies, I just bumped my mic. But no, yeah, a little homage to Halloween, when Laurie Strode is getting attacked by Michael Myers. She tells the little kids, go down the street to the Mackenzies, so nice little homage there. But yeah, it's just heartbreaking. And then you get a very weird camera movement for Scream and very weird camera movement for Wes Craven. But that scene kind of ends before the title hits you, Scream, with almost Sam Raimi-esque zoom in on Casey Becker's body as she's literally strung up from a tree, guts hanging out. It's fucking, again, visceral to watch, but very unique camera movement that I don't think we ever see again in a Scream movie. So
I love how the camera shifts to the knife, so seamless. I'll tell you a funny story here, because I think she's definitely half serious. She didn't actually think this, but like she says she did. When Lauren first watched this, she was like, go back. Is he headless? when she pulls his mask off, and as she's coming down, the camera goes up, so it's like you don't really see. She pulls it off, and it's just black, and you see the knife. And I'm like, no, the camera just went up above his head. But she's like, I legit thought he was headless. Like, but
That's great.
I love how like seamless that like shift is down to up, because I think it looks like really good. I love that shot of the knife, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah, I know. I'm backtracking a little bit here, but I love the setup and payoff of Sydney's door. I think that's a great setup and payoff. Like they wait just the appropriate amount of time, because I think if you introduce that little door setup, and again for anyone who's forgetting what I'm talking about, at the beginning of the film when Billy sort of climbs through Sydney's window to have some late night sexy time with her, and her dad hears her scream. He tries to come in her room, but the way that her closet door is positioned, if it's kind of opened, it prevents her main bedroom door from opening up. And it's a little thing, and you don't think about it again. But then about 20 minutes later, when Sydney is attacked in her house, she runs upstairs and immediately, very quick thinking, easily the smartest final girl of all time. I don't think there's any question about it. Like, I don't know if there's another female protagonist in a slasher that is as intelligent and badass as Sydney is, but she uses the closet door to block it so that Ghostface can't come in. And I just think that's a great setup and payoff, because like I said, if you had waited too long, like if you had waited till, for some reason, if the film was different and the final climax took place at Sydney's house instead of Stu Macher's house, and you tried to do that same thing where she's getting chased and she uses the closet door, I don't think the setup and payoff would have hit as hard. But I think they wait just the appropriate amount of time where it's like, oh, I do remember that little setup. So just a little thing I wanted to highlight. But yeah.
Let's talk about the fun part of this. When you first saw this, do you remember who were like whoever you thought it was? Did you go through a couple people? Because I know my order of like who I thought it was.
So here's where I was half right and half wrong, because the first time I watched it, no idea that there was two killers. Wasn't thinking it through. I was kind of young. Didn't think that there was two killers. So I locked in on Stu from the get-go. Stu was like, I honed in on Stu, and I was like, it's Stu. And so I was half right. And the whole reveal of like there being two killers
from Stu.
No, I think at some point I thought maybe it was Randy, because Randy is such a big red herring, and his whole connection to horror films and being the quote unquote film buff of the friend group, and the killer being so focused and fixated on horror films. I think, but then I went with Stu.
I don't know why. I never thought it was Stu. I thought maybe because he was like too obviously like kind of like loose in the head. I remember thinking it was Billy at first, and then they fucking got me with his arrest. I was like, oh no, it can't be him. And then I thought it was. Then I kind of thought it was Randy towards like the middle, but that was like short. And then I thought it was Dewey for like a while, like a big part of the movie.
Yeah.
So.
No, there's this. I think easily Scream 1 does the best job at red herrings. Like, you're even, like, obviously, like, neither of us thought that, but, like, the Principal Himbry, Henry Winkler's character, the way that he just verbally dissects those two kids who he expels, which, fun fact, the guy, when you were texting me about how you don't like when they're watching Halloween, the Bob kill in that movie, the one guy, he's like, they get it so wrong. The blood is too red. That's one of the guys who gets expelled in Principal Himbry's office.
I don't know why Kevin Williamson wrote some of these lines, because like that stuff you can easily, Halloween doesn't have blood, so why would you have a character say that when there's, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. That line would have worked better if they were watching like George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead or Suspiria, where the blood is literally like red paint, which is like a nice charming element of those movies. But
even Evil Dead, because Randy literally holds up Evil Dead and Hellraiser, and I love that they don't watch either. He's like when he's like getting the vote. Even Evil Dead would work. I don't know. I mean, Halloween's a great choice. I love that they used Halloween. Just don't have that line. Just literally don't have the line. Oh,
That's understandable. It doesn't like hurt my score or anything, but it's I get what you're saying. It's a strange line to have. How do you feel about the scene when Randy is screaming at the TV? It's like, he's behind you, Jamie.
Oh, I like
Look
it.
behind you. I think it's funny. I think it adds to his character.
Yeah. And I think, it does help that he's drunk as hell. I think that kind of like plays into like, because I'm like,
Well,
how does
that's-
Randy not hear what's happening upstairs.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was like my initial defense of when you brought that criticism up of like, why is that guy talking about the blood and Halloween? And I'm like, they're all shit-faced. They've all been drinking for hours. Like, they're very clearly intoxicated. So like, I think I can write off a couple of like dumb lines of dialogue. I'll tell you a genuine criticism I do have in this movie. Like a genuine criticism that bugs me every time I watch
criticism. It's probably not.
No, it legitimately is. Like, it's not gonna hurt my score because I love this movie.
It's not
but
fair.
It's a genuine criticism, and it is I cannot stand any time Sydney and Billy talk to each other in the movie. Like when they're trying to like be romantic. Like I hate when they're like after or before they have sex and Billy is like, he says like, he brings up a movie and Sydney's like, but this isn't a movie. This is real life. And Billy's like, of course it is. This is all one big movie. You just can't pick your genre. And then they start like making out and hugging and she's like, why can't it be like a Meg Ryan movie or even a good porno? I fucking hate that. I hate that dialogue.
Is that the only part you hate
so
with them, or is it like anytime they talk in the movie?
I hate when he breaks through her window in the beginning and she's like, hey, I don't like seeing them dry hump either. I don't enjoy that. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's just weird because you're both clearly like 25. Like,
Is that an issue with chemistry or just the writing?
No. I think they have good chemistry. I just don't like the dialogue in those scenes. Like, and
So
like,
why does that not hurt the score even a little bit? Even because they're literally a couple throughout the whole movie.
No, because it's just two exchanges in the movie, like two very small
What about
parts.
in school
and like
when they're talking?
I don't mind that scene because that scene is hilarious when it essentially boils down to Billy saying, "Get over your dead mom and fuck me." That you can boil that entire conversation down to, "I'm sorry your mom was raped and murdered a year ago, but I need to get, some fucky fuck, like that's crazy to me. Like, and I get it in hindsight, he is the killer, but even this is what I'm talking about, Josh. They're fucking idiots. They're fucking idiots. If he wanted to, get close to Sydney, it would make her an easier target to kill. Maybe not in the middle of the school, a day after she was attacked by Ghostface, be like, hey, sorry about day off. Name one even their plan at the end is fucking stupid. Their plan is stupid.
I started to believe that him getting caught was deliberate. And I think that is smart. That's like you're planning ahead. It doesn't make other you could say he's stupid for like crawling in her window at that time when he hears all this going on and he knows what's going on. I think he tries to get caught to throw off the scent of him. I'd like to think that. I think that.
But how could they if that was their plan for him to get caught, then how could they have known that she would be able to contact 911? Like, how would they have known? That's the only reason that the police show up. Yeah.
He's her boyfriend for years, so he knows that she has access to that. Maybe, I don't know.
I know, but like I think it like goes like a step beyond just planning well. Like, you need a lot of things to happen correctly for that to play out the way that it does. I think Billy and Stu were both there to kill her. I think they were there to kill Sydney.
That doesn't make sense.
Things went sideways. Hey, that's you can feel that way.
Bad movie. It's a bad movie.
You son of a bitch.
I will say, because Jake makes me do this. He just throws tens every movie's way, and it forces me to be like, okay, now I gotta overanalyze this movie and like pick it apart when I don't want to because I love this movie. I will say this:
throws tens around. Keep in mind, guys, throughout this entire podcast, I think I've given 3 tens, maybe 4. Maybe 4.
First off, that doesn't replicate his letterbox. Okay, he has plenty of tens, plenty.
I do not.
Yeah, you do. And your ratio, you could say, oh, I have this many more, not many more 5s than you. Look at our movies logged. I logged more. You're throwing a 10 at Scream when it just doesn't. I don't think it's a perfect movie. That's all I'm trying to say. And you even gave a flaw in the writing, and you're like, oh, no, it doesn't hurt it though.
I don't think a movie has to be perfect to be a 10.
Well, okay. He's also factoring enjoyment. It's unfortunate for me that I don't factor in enjoyment because I would love to give this movie more.
He does, but he just doesn't admit to it.
No, otherwise I would give this more than what I'm going to give it.
Because
this is one of my favorite horror movies.
Because what you're critically giving good score points to in a movie are things that you enjoy. So you are giving it enjoyment points.
There is.
You can mask it. You can mask it as criticism if you want, but
I don't get points for like, oh, I really like this. So it's Jake. I really love horrible movies. If that's the case, then I would give them higher scores than a half star.
That's the thing, though. I don't give movies that I like. There are 6 and 7 out of 10s that I love. I love Chronicle. I love Chronicle. I love Super 8. Those are two movies that Pacific Rim. Those are movies that I love, but I'm obviously not giving them 10s. I love Scream.
I love. Like, okay, I love. If you
also,
love the
you
cinematography,
spoiled my score. You spoiled my score.
Oh, I thought you already said in this that you thought it was a perfect movie. I did spoil his score. I was hoping he would lower it, honestly. When he gave that
I'm giving
critique,
this
I was
a
like,
10.
oh, he's giving this a 9.9. Nope. Oh, Jake.
No.
Yeah, Jake's not going to do that.
I'm not doing decimals anymore. I'm a new man. New Year's resolution.
It's not when I say rate on what you like, I mean pure enjoyment of the movie. I'm not saying, oh, I love the cinematography, so you're rating on what you like. No, I'm saying I love it because of how good this thing is. I'm not saying I'm not giving a movie a higher score because I love how much I enjoy it, if that makes sense. It's very difficult to like differentiate because
Do you give Halloween a 10?
No.
Okay. So there's no slasher that's a 10 to you.
No.
Okay.
If I'm rating it as a slasher, yeah, it's a perfect slasher, I guess.
I think certain subgenres come with certain caveats, like the slasher genre, and I think that Halloween does a lot more right than Scream does. Maybe not a lot, but it does more right than Scream, and is more probably culturally iconic. But I think Scream has better acting, and I think that the cinematography in Scream goes very under noticed. Like, I think there's some genuinely really good shots in this movie.
I think Halloween's
better. Yeah. Halloween has better cinematography overall, but there's some really great shots in this movie that we really didn't highlight. Like, I love when before you get to the party at the end, there's like this nice sort of boom up shot of the car as it's driving down, Dewey's police car driving towards the party. When they arrive, it starts out as like this medium close up shot as the car pulls up. And as Sydney and Tatum get out of the car and start heading towards the party, the camera kind of booms and not dollies. What's that word? It just sort of like booms. Crane. There you go. Thank you. It sort of like booms and cranes up in a way, revealing. So what starts out as like a medium close-up shot ends up being like an establishing shot of where the climax of the film is going to take place. I think that's awesome. I even timed it. It's like a minute-long tracking shot when they're leaving the school after the town-wide curfew is mandated and Stu is trying to get them to come to his party. It's a great tracking shot. You know me, I love my work with extras, and there are so many scenes in this film where there's just dozens of extras in the background all doing different things. The school and the town, like, it feels alive. Like, it's almost the opposite of like what you had a problem with in the first Fear Street movie, where you're like, this town feels like abandoned. It's like a ghost town. Nobody's here. Whereas like Woodsboro and Woodsboro High School, like, it feels like alive and living and breathing, which I really appreciate. And I know that's probably something that, a lot of people don't quite pay attention to, and it's not going to improve their experience with a film. But when you can make like a setting and a town and a location feel real and living, it really adds to the experience for me, and I appreciate what Wes Craven was able to do in this with a lot of like his directing choices.
If I'm rating on enjoyment, this is close to a 10. So that's my point, is that like I try to eliminate that like as like being as subjective as that. Obviously my opinions are still subjective. It's subjective objectivity.
I reject the notion that I throw around tens casually.
Oh, you do?
I have not. I don't.
Do. You guys heard it here first.
Only to you. Literally, ask any one of my other friends, and I'm an asshole, and I'm too hard on movies.
No way.
Yes. When I made a joke the one time where I was like, yeah, this movie's almost a 9 when I saw it. And my entire friend group was like, oh, a 9 from Jake? Oh. Like, I don't, like, Josh makes it sound like every other movie I watch, I'm giving a 10 out. I have, like, maybe 70 to 75 10 out of 10s throughout 120 years of cinema. Like, movies have been around. I just think you're a little stingy with your 10s, and that's fine. You're allowed to be stingy with your 10s, but I reject the notion that I am just throwing them around.
Basically,
like, there's
10%,
very few horror movies.
More than over 10% of movies are perfect.
No.
Yeah, no, by your letterbox, I think you have like what is it, around 1,000 rated? Or no, not. I think it's like 900 or something like that.
It's, I don't know, like 1,100 or something.
Oh, is it over 1,000? Okay, so a little less than 10%. That's a high percentage, I think, for perfect movies.
If you looked at my like letterbox, if you look at that little like data thing, my 5s is below my 4.5s. It's below my 4s. It's below my 3.5s, and it's below my 3s and my 2.5s.
As it should
So what
be.
the fuck are you talking
As
about?
it should be. Hold on. First off, it's almost the same as your 2.5s. Almost. It's
Yeah, I
over
don't
your
watch a
2s.
lot of.
You should.
I purposely seek out. No, you watch a lot more garbage than I do. Is the thing.
You know why? Because it makes me appreciate the good. I don't just want to saturate myself with good. I want to really balance myself.
I don't have enough free time to watch garbage. I don't. I get
got
one
a whole
movie a
life.
day maybe.
I got a whole life.
I don't know how much longer I'm gonna last.
Yeah, you got a point.
Times are tough, man. It's cold
So
out here.
I was gonna say, and I know you're not gonna agree, and that's fine because like this
Yeah.
is also probably a nitpick. Maybe not.
No,
though.
go for it.
I do think, and it's fun. It is fun. I'm not gonna like be like a Debbie Downer here, but I think it goes a little too red herring happy all the time, where it's like I'm fine with red herrings, but sometimes it feels too obviously like bringing my attention to this person, then this person, then this person. It's like a lot.
I
Where
think
it's
that's what a good murder mystery does. I think when it's a murder
It's
and
every
Scream is
single
very
person.
much a murder. I think
It's
that's
like-
great. I will take that over like Scream 2 and 3 any day, where like the red herrings suck. I think this movie every
No, yeah,
person
I think the red
is.
herrings are good. I just think sometimes
mean-
it's a little too like obviously written to make me. I should be looking
Okay,
at some
what's an
characters, like-
example?
so when Gale and Dewey are talking, it's he's like, I mean, I guess this is no, it kind of is because he's like talking about like the rules of a serial killer without saying that like these are the rules. She's like saying we have a serial killer on hands. He's like, oh no, you need to rack up a few more to get that title. And then I forget what she says. She says like, oh, wouldn't that be something?
She
Where it's
says
like-
one could only hope.
Oh yeah, one could only hope. It's like, okay, now you just made me look at both these people where it's like they're saying lines that are like so obviously like and they do it a lot with Dewey. I think a little too much with Dewey.
I just
And they
don't
got
see
me. They
how
fooled me.
like
You're not scared.
I just
are ya?
don't-
He gets a little creepy sometimes. No,
like
so
I
think-
get it, but I just don't see how that's a criticism in a murder mystery. When I'm watching a
because
murder
not
mystery,
everyone can
I
be-
want to. But literally the film is telling you, you have a character, the film buff in the movie is telling you directly everybody is a suspect. And I think that
sometimes it's out of character. I feel like I feel like with the characters given, it feels out of character. Like Dewey, he kind of acts creepy, but he's not really like delivered as a creepy guy. Like you're not scared, are you? That's like the obvious one where it's like, ooh, that's like in the trailer. They want you to like believe it's Dewey, which is fine. But
I think that's just like a little flirtation. I don't think that's out of character for Dewey.
no, that is supposed to be like creepy. Like, oh, this guy could be the killer.
Which I think it works in both regards because he still is a suspect at this time, but
Every person knows about movies. Every character knows about movies in this movie. There's not one person that isn't referencing a movie. Even Dewey with like Town That Dreaded Sundown. He's like describing, oh, that's about the killer in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like everyone knows a little too much about film in this movie, maybe. Where it's like, I don't know.
Literally every one of my friends watches movies. Every one of your
Jake,
friends watches
you're gonna
movies.
defend
I don't.
everything I say. These
No,
are like,
but because like there is a difference between like I gave you some of your legitimate criticisms, but in a murder mystery being like, oh, I really don't like that they make everybody a suspect. That's crazy to me.
it's not that they make everyone a suspect. It's that it's sometimes a little too deliberate and obvious. Where it's like
I guess yeah.
But again,
That's fair.
Again, I have to do this because I have to combat your 10. I have to say it's not perfect.
Or you can just say, "Hey, I love this just not as much as you do. Here are the things I do like."
I was glowing about this movie throughout
No,
the
and
episode.
I was, and again, I was fine giving some of those criticisms. Like, yes, some of the lines of dialogue, I completely understand where you're coming from with that. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything, especially compared to the other Scream movies in this franchise, where when it's talking about going overboard, like, no. In the other movies, they do it way harder than this movie does.
And they're worse. And they're worse movies.
I guess then this movie just hits that perfect level for me, where I don't think any character acts out of character.
No, it's not that they're out of character. Like, so
Those are your words. Those are your words.
Because I'm being nitpicky. I'm being it's very slightly where if, like, I'm really analyzing this. Yes, I don't believe every character has like an extensive knowledge of like film history, but they all seem to.
They don't though. All Dewey says is, "Oh yeah, I saw that movie." All Tatum does is like incorrectly reference horror movies. I Spit on Your Garage and Wes Carpenter. The only ones who are big
That was a
horror
play on
buffs.
it. That wasn't her like thinking. It was
Yeah.
horror.
I was more thinking the Wes Carpenter thing where she's like, "What is this out of some Wes Carpenter flick or whatever?" But no, like the only true like horror buffs and film buffs are Randy and Stu and Billy, and it's because
Casey.
Billy and Stu. I mean, I just don't. I don't know. That's like a crazy criticism to me. Like where it's like, oh my gosh, people in a movie know about movies. I don't know.
Every
like,
person, yeah.
I don't know.
Every person.
I just
Now, the thing is,
I just
Jake,
don't see how it hurts the movie.
You gave a legit criticism, probably a bigger criticism than I gave, but you're still not letting it take points off because you will not let anything lower this movie because you love it too much, because you're too subjective.
No, because I am a person who, if the achievements of a film outweigh some minor criticisms I have, then yes, it can still get a 10. Halloween is a 10 for me. There's a scene where they literally reuse the girl as she's getting killed. They reuse her scream in back-to-back shots. They just loop the audio. That's an actual fault. There's some weak acting in that movie. Godfather, there's some shots out of focus in that. Okay? No movie is perfect on a
You have
fundamental,
multiple
flawless
problems
level.
with the writing in this movie.
No, I didn't say multiple. I said there's two scenes where some of the dialogue, and that might just be that I find the way that high schoolers talk to each other cringy. That might not even be a legit criticism. It's just and it doesn't pull me out of the movie. It's just I don't.
You know what pulls me out of the movie?
I get
You know
what
what
you're
pulls me out, and you cannot defend
What?
this. I don't care what you say. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say he's dumb. He's dumb, Josh. He's not smart. No.
Okay. What?
No. Why would you do the little Billy at the end? That's stupid. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. You had a chance. You were not dead. They were not going to do that until you did that. You could have gotten away with. Maybe you had a chance to get away with it.
No,
Jake,
that's
way.
That's it. No, if you find that as a flaw, that's fine.
There's no way you don't think that that's an issue. That's stupid. You have to at least admit that.
I think it's fun. It's part of the satire.
Oh, all right.
It's
Whatever. Yeah, see, that's another thing. The satire just excuses things. It excuses everything.
It doesn't excuse everything, but I think that I don't know. I like the satire elements. I think it's fun. It's kind of not the very first, but really the first big time that we had a horror film in which the characters knew about horror films. They know the rules of these things, and I think it's implemented well into the plot. I think that I don't know.
Apparently, more than well into the plot. I mean, this is a 10.
Yeah, it is.
Everything
it's a 10
about
out
this
of
movie
10.
is excellent.
It's well shot. It's well acted. Well written. Good characters.
I think a movie that's an 8 out of 10 can be all those things. Well, this, well, that. There aren't many things where I'm like, that is exceptional. I don't see a performance that's exceptional. I don't see cinematography that's exceptional. It's really good. It's all really good, and some stuff is great. Nothing is, to me, is exceptional in this movie.
That is fine, and you can feel that way.
I will feel that way. I will. God damn it.
It's no. Okay, because this happened with Evil Dead 2. Just because I love something more than you do does not mean you have to specifically seek out nitpicks. Because you're not going to lower my score, Josh. You're not going to lower it.
No, I do, because you're going to say, what's your problem with this? And you.
No, I wasn't going to bring up any of that.
No, well, I felt like I had to because I was preparing for the questions. And the only thing I was gonna press you on was the whole, because a while back you said that it leans too heavily on the satire. So and that I just don't agree with. So I was just curious, like, what you meant by that. Like, what are specific examples of, like, it leans too heavily on the satire? Like, no, I kind of disregarded that. I'm not holding that against the movie because I think it's more a strength than a negative. So, yeah, I didn't think you would accept me. I don't think you fully accept the notion that just because you're not a 10 doesn't mean I don't have direct flaws. It's more so I don't see the components of a film excelling.
That's fair.
As other films do. And I guess, like, you hold films kind of like in their own category. I try to umbrella it over just the scope of film the best I can. Scream. I think I try. I don't know what we're talking about here. It's like
it is great.
Like, it's
no,
great.
It is great, and that's where it's like I think I try to do both when it's like discussing movies. But we should probably wrap this up. We went so much longer than expected. But kind of like my final sentiment on all that is, like, I think it's because, like, it's not fair. And, like, why inherently would anybody compare, like, Scream to Casablanca? Why? They are two different movies. Mm-hmm. They are going for two completely different things.
Yeah, I agree. It sucks.
And so when you try to be like, when you separate horror and try to be like, oh, well, I try to compare it to all the other great, like, no, I'm not comparing Scream to Apocalypse Now, because they're two different movies going for two different things. They have different objectives. And I think personally, and you can disagree, it's clear that you do, and I know you do love Scream, but I think this version of Scream, the movie that we got, is the best version of that story and that film. Like, I think we got the best version that we possibly could have gotten.
Yeah,
and that's why I give it a 10.
I agree.
So then it's like...
Here's my answer to that. When you're confused of, like, how can you compare it, it's not directly comparing it to films that are so different. It's realizing, oh, hey, if I made a greatest films of all time list, they would have to be in order. So I tried making a list like that, and then I realized it's fucking pointless. Because what is the point of... It's not even that it's hard, it's pointless. Because... What is the point of comparing a bunch of different films from a bunch of different genres? Why can't Scream be a 10 of the horror genre and Apocalypse Now be a 10 out of 10 war film, or Godfather be a 10 out of 10 mafia film, right? Those lists exist everywhere. There's books.
They do.
The greatest films of all time. It's not a crazy thing to do.
They do. It's not pointless. I think that no, but if you're trying to make this is the definitive, every movie below this one is better than the next. Like, at what point are you, like, you're comparing, like, 10s at this? Like, all your movies in your top 10 are going to be 10 out of 10s. So, like, how are you going to put 1 over 2? They're both 10s. You can't go higher than a 10, right? I just think, like, I don't know. It's arbitrary, I guess. You can absolutely
have 10s higher than the other. It's like, what level of 10? It's like, yes, these are...
There's no levels of 10, though. It's just a 10 out of 10. It's a clean 10 out of 10. So at that point...
things not so black and white, Jake. You have to have some level of nuance here.
You're the one who's speaking in black and white terms. I'm the one who's saying nuance. I'm the one who's saying that different genres have different objectives. What? Yeah. You're crazy.
You think if you have an overall hierarchy, you're black and white? You think anyone?
Yes.
You think when AFI makes a list, 1,000 greatest movies, they're black and white? No.
Yes,
It's
you're
just-
making black and white decisions. You're
Oh my
saying
God,
that
no,
this
you're
film
not-
is objectively
that's not
better
what
than
that
this
is.
one.
That's crazy. That's insane. You can't say you're black and white because you made a top 10 list. Oh, why? Why did you make a top 20 of the 21st century? That's black and white. You can't.
It is.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is you objectively saying, unless you preface the thing with saying, okay, this is my top 20 in no specific order. But if you're saying I'm numbering this 1 to 20 and this is in a specific order, then that is a black and white decision. There aren't nuances.
That's crazy.
Now, if you say, hey, this is my top 20 not in a specific order, that's nuance, because that's saying, hey, these are the top 20 films that I would put there, and it's in no specific order because different films are going for different things and
So then you're black and white
trying
as
to
well.
achieve different things.
You just said you're not black
How?
and white. You made a top 20 list that Tarantino made, and you put them in
Well,
order.
that was just-
you even
was-
rearrange the order.
Yeah, I mean that was just for us like doing this. Like I mean I'm talking about in the conversation of like putting like if you're trying to in that specific scenario, yes, I was being black and white. I'm just saying like
I
in
don't
the
think that's what black
conversation.
and white- Yes, I think literally, but like you shouldn't be taking things so literal. Like it's not. It doesn't mean you're black and white because you make a top 10 list.
In that scenario,
Basically,
it's
having
black
an
and
opinion
white.
Is black and white. Having an opinion is black and white. I think this movie's better than that movie. Oh, you're black and white because it's one or the other. That's not
No,
true.
I'm saying there's more nuanced if you factor in what a movie is trying to go for and the genre that it's a part of.
I don't think Scream is better than There Will Be Blood, but you do.
No, I have them both at 5 out of 5 stars.
No, well then you changed it. You used to have There Will Be Blood at 9.
Okay.
You changed.
You
it to
get on
10?
my scores so much.
Oh, I love it. I love analyzing your scores. I can wipe
It's
my
not
ass.
it's not that deep, guys. It's not.
Oh, it's that deep. It got that deep.
I'll go
Pisses
deep.
me off. Call me black and white.
No, I'm saying in this scenario, you're being black and white.
What? That Scream is not a 10?
No, and that's fine. You can not. I don't care that you don't have it as a 10. I'm
You
just
did.
saying.
You used to.
I'm just saying you don't have to. I think it's perfect the way it is. And I think something can be perfect with imperfections. I know that sounds stupid, but
Oh, so
I think it
nuanced.
can be. I think it can be a perfect. That is nuance. That's not black and white. You're saying it's literally black and white when you say like.
It's like saying people that don't have opinions that ride the fence, which I can't stand people like that. They're nuanced because they're looking at they're not picking a side. No, don't compliment someone for not having opinions.
No, you can make an opinion, but I think like a nuanced person does look at both sides of the
But like you know
argument.
the yes people that kind of like they'll agree with this side and then agree with that side. They always ride the fence.
Yeah.
They're not nuanced for that. You know, like that's not what like nuance.
I think you can be depending on the person because it depends if you're like a person who's just like riding the fence because you don't want to commit to an opinion. That's I think different than someone who is
Yeah.
like just weighing the options
No, I'm
of
talking
like
about
both
someone
sides of the argument.
that doesn't know how to have an opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. There's plenty of people like that. There's very non-combative, non-opinionated people.
That can be nuanced though.
I think it's depending on a case-by-case scenario. That's how I treat films. Is like I think you have a very blanket like the movie needs to do this and this to be like a 10. Whereas like I don't know. Okay, then why the issue with me having it as a 10?
Just because I personally don't think it's perfect.
You're an asshole.
Because
All right, well-
I don't get it. But
We
yeah,
went so
we'll have
much.
to talk yeah, Jake and I will just have to talk not on this episode
You don't-
about this.
It's that crazy to you that I have it as a 10. Like it's you can't
I think
see
it's
like
pretty
where
crazy,
I'm
yes.
coming from. Okay. All right.
No, I get what you're saying when you say it's perfect for what it's trying to achieve. I get it.
I get it. I get it
You're
though.
the
Certain
only-
movies
you're
like
one of the only people I know that has given it a 10 though.
That's fair. That's fine.
So
no,
that's-
it's I get it. Like I mean, like when I see you give like After Sun a 5 out of 5, or like however high you gave like The Holdovers, like that. Like I guess that to me is crazy. Or
Yeah.
So I get it. I get
And that's
it.
wild to me that you think it's crazy. So we're just gonna
Yeah,
keep
'cause,
going
like-
in this.
And that's it's.
Yeah, everyone, you're allowed to have your opinions. I'm most of the time fucking with Jake, like giving him shit. One thing that about
We
Jake
do- we
is
do like to-
I respect that he's always able to deliver why he believes this stuff. So that's all I care about. If you can back it up and not just say,
Yeah.
Not just say like bullshit things or just one thing like I just liked it. He's able to come up with stuff why he believes this. So I respect that.
That's always, I appreciate that, man. And obviously I respect your opinion on this as well. Like, obviously, like I know that you love Scream almost as much as I do. I don't know if anybody loves it as much as I do.
I don't either.
The first one specifically.
Which pisses
The
me
sequels
off,
are.
'cause I thought I loved Scream so much.
That's our experience with movies. Is Josh is like, I love Evil Dead, and then or Evil Dead 2, and then he meets me, and then it's
Yeah, it's like he ruins my love for things. Just one ups me.
It's all right. I think we'll be in a lot more agreement during our Scream 2 discussion. So
Yeah, that'll be
I'm
shorter.
excited for
That'll
that.
make up for this
I'm
lengthy episode.
looking through my notes here. If there's anything that you
Oh no, dude! I've been tapped out.
we didn't really mention it, but one of the funniest moments, and they parody it in Scary Movie, is after that scene where Billy and Sid get into that argument at school. The way she runs off is the funniest thing in the world. Like, you ever notice that? The way she runs off with her like arm, like
Yeah, because that's why Anna Faris runs like so like
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah. Also, too, really great is Gail is so awful to her cameraman, and it's hilarious. But
Oh my god.
she's so mean. She's such a bitch in this movie.
I know that you're about 50 pounds overweight, but when I say hurry, please interpret it as move your fat tub of lard ass now. That is crazy.
The movie leans into it though, because later on in the movie, they're sitting in the van, and he's like examining a Cheeto before he eats it.
Yeah, that man
He's
has so
always
many snacks.
snacking.
Yeah.
He's always snacking.
He's
It's
me.
great.
That's me. That's literally me.
But yeah, guys, I hope we did enough. I mean, I'm tapped out. If you're ready to,
I'm ready for
I mean, obviously, well, scores. I give this a 10 out of 10. We just spent the last 10, 15 minutes discussing my 10 out of 10. Josh, what would you give Scream 1996?
I'm going to give it an 8.6 out of 10.
All right. It's a very, very good score. All jokes aside. I love Scream. Josh loves Scream. I hope we did the movie justice. I know the conversation wasn't very focused. I would like to apologize, guys. We haven't recorded in a minute, so we are a little bit rusty. And if you've ever done like podcasting or anything of that sort before, any sort of like entertainment type thing, if you haven't done it in a minute, it takes a little bit to shake the rust off. But I still think we had a very good conversation. I think we highlighted all the great parts of the movie, and we brought up some of Josh's criticisms and addressed that. And yeah, I love it. I will continue to watch this movie 2-3 times a year for the rest of my life. I don't think I'll ever get sick of it. Every time I watch it, even before this viewing for this podcast episode, I was like, I've seen this movie so many times. I watched it not too long ago. Do I really want to watch it? And then within like the first 5 minutes, like I'm just in, I'm sold. And I briefly mentioned it, but the pacing in this movie, I think it is one of the best paced horror films. For it being an hour, 50 minutes, absolutely flies by. It is easy, breezy, lemon squeezy watching. Yeah, I mean, that's really it for me. Make sure to listen to this podcast anywhere you get your podcast. We upload on YouTube, on my personal YouTube channel, @formerfilmstudent. I've uploaded a couple videos recently. Some of my better performing videos talking about Legend of Vox Machina and the Mighty Nine, two Amazon Prime series from Critical Role. I absolutely adore and love them, so go check out those videos. I also did a video on Smiling Friends, which is an Adult Swim show that I also really love, and is a great little comfort show if you're looking for something of that sort. But we also upload our podcast episodes to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can listen to us over there. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video if you're watching it there or listening to it there. Make sure to like on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and then follow us over on those pages as well. But that's really it for me.
Yep. So also in addition to that, just give a follow on Instagram at Franchise Deep Dive. Check out posts that are coming in, episodes that are coming out. Like, comment, DM us any conversations you want to have or any recommendations you got for us. Just pop them in there. We'll be gladly to factor them in. Probably not this year since we got the road to Avengers Doomsday. But
Hell yeah.
But yeah, guys. So just feel free to interact with us. We're always good with responding if you do. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and obviously no need to recommend next episode. Next week we are going to be talking about Scream 2, released 1 year after Scream. So we will continue the story of Sidney Prescott and Ghostface, and we're bringing it to college. So very excited to talk about Scream 2 in the next episode. So make sure to check that out. Also, guys, make sure to, like I said, follow and subscribe, because one thing I forgot to mention is that we are not going to be having a specific upload date. I got really sick and tired of forcing myself to have to upload an episode on a specific day. So we're just gonna be we're gonna get an episode every week. So you'll be getting this episode, and then just stay tuned for the next episode coming out in a week's time. So stay tuned for that and keep an eye out for it. And click the little bell notification button if you're on my YouTube channel, because then you'll get notified when new episodes are coming out. So yeah, that is really it for us over here at Franchise Deep Dive, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Goodbye.
Later, guys.